Welcome to Auto Mundial, the weekly car news and review show, where this week we're checking out the all-new Porsche Macan. Is it still a class leader with its new electric powertrain?
We're also checking out some of the latest big pickup trucks from America and a new lightweight sports car from Alpine.
Plus a souped-up Japanese coupe and the Vauxhall Astra goes electric. That's all coming up later in the show, but up first though, the news.
Mazda has released some updates for its popular MX-5 sports car and hiked the price in the process. The ageing ND generation MX-5 has been in production for 9 years, but prices for the entry-level 1.5 Roadster now start at £28,000, £10,000 more than in 2015. For that you get a manual gearbox, an open differential and Diddy 16-inch alloy wheels. All models get a new 8.8-inch infotainment system. A top-spec 2-litre RF with the folding hardtop will cost you a heady £37,000, suggesting the ageing Japanese sports car might not be the performance bargain it once was, with rivals like the faster Toyota GR86 undercutting it. The all-new MX-5 will be arriving in the next couple of years, and Mazda has confirmed that it'll stick to the formula of a two-seater convertible with a front-mounted petrol engine powering the rear wheels.
Since the release of the striking new Astra, Vauxhall has been busy preparing an electric version. Based on the internal combustion model, the new Astra Electric looks very similar to its petrol or diesel counterparts. It gets the same visor grille, 18-inch alloys and slim new taillights with on-trend Astra script across the boot lid. When Vauxhall first lifted the tarps, we said it looked great, and we can still vouch for that 18 months later. And better still, Vauxhall has electrified the Sports Tourer too, meaning it's one of the very few true estate cars on the market now, along with the likes of the Peugeot E308 SW and MG5. Under the bonnet, the Astra Electric gets its powertrain from other models in the Stellantis range, namely the new Jeep Avenger and Peugeot E2008. That means it gets the same 54 kilowatt-hour battery and electric motor that produces 154 brake horsepower. Its performance stats aren't particularly impressive compared to some other EVs, hitting 62 from rest in 9.2 seconds. But as a family car, it is more than adequate, as is its range of over 250 miles. Vauxhall's first electric offering, the Corsa E, always suffered with plummeting range when brought up to motorway speeds, so we're hopeful this model doesn't suffer the same fate. A new heat pump should help when the weather is cold too. Inside, the Astra gets Vauxhall's Pure Panel Pro infotainment system, which sits loud and proud on the dashboard with a 10-inch digital instrument cluster and a 10-inch central display. Voice recognition is standard across the range and can be activated by saying, "Hey Vauxhall," while high-spec Ultimate models also get a range of upgrades Vauxhall calls IntelliJ. This includes a heads-up display unit and various assists, including speed adaptation, lane change and positioning assist, and rear cross-traffic alert. Complete in the interior is a newly designed 3-spoke flat-bottom steering wheel and a driver's seat approved by Germany's campaign for healthier backs.
It all seems very promising then, but with a starting price of nearly £40,000 before you start ticking boxes on the spec sheet, the Astra Electric is amongst some stiff competition. And none more so than this, the Volkswagen ID.3. Now VW and Vauxhall have long had a hatchback rivalry, particularly with the Golf versus the Astra. But with the e-Golf no longer on sale, the Astra is instead up against VW's more standout electric offering. And while the ID.3 had a shaky start to proceedings, struggling to persuade customers to electrification, the latest 2024 car has a lot to shout about. ID.3 buyers have 3 battery sizes to choose from, with range ranging from 210 to 339 miles, which keeps it right up there with the best in the class. On the styling front, it gets some redesigned bumpers and headlights and a larger body colour bonnet, which VW says helps to create a longer-looking front end. Inside, the old car felt a bit cheap, but now, though, VW has gone to some effort to redeem the ID.3's cabin in direct response to customer feedback. There's more padding dotted around and upmarket soft surfaces in place of hard plastic. And with a starting price of under £36,000, the ID.3 seems like a lot of car for your money.
The new Astra then might be the best looking one in a long time, and with its new Stellantis underpinnings, the most desirable too. But at 40k, it might prove to be a hard sell.
As we continue to lament the fact we don't get the Nissan Z here in Europe, over in the States there's yet more reason to celebrate with the launch of this, the new Nissan Z NISMO. NISMO is to Nissan what AMG is to Mercedes, so this new Z is unsurprisingly both more powerful and stiffer. The wonderful 3-litre twin-turbo V6 has been souped up to 420 bhp, 20 more than standard, with a decent torque increase too. Engine cooling has been upgraded to improve track day reliability. Sadly, the NISMO won't be available with the 6-speed manual from the regular Z. Instead, a 9-speed paddle shift is your only option. Like the engine though, it's been recalibrated for the NISMO with more aggressive in its Sport Plus mode. Downshifts are said to be twice as fast versus the standard car, and there's an improved launch control system. Brakes all round have been upgraded, as have the tyres. Some track-focused Dunlops wrap some new 19-inch forged raised alloys, giving it a real Japanese tuner flavour. The NISMO also gains more bracing under the bodywork to stiffen it up, as well as upgraded suspension. Despite a few lightweight add-ons though, the extra bracing does mean that this is the heaviest version of the Z, weighing in at just under 1,700 kilos. Naturally, it's also had some styling tweaks. A full NISMO body kit with red trim is just what we were hoping for, complemented perfectly with the massive raised alloys. The front of the car has been extended slightly, a throwback to previous fast Z cars and the old NISMO 370. It features a bigger grille for improved airflow to further aid the engine cooling. The cockpit has also been given some love with a load of Alcantara and a new set of lightweight Recaro seats. The red theme continues with new screen graphics and lots of red stitching. The Z has been a hugely tempting alternative to the GR Supra, but with the new Ford Mustang now on the scene as well, the NISMO is just what the Z needed to remain so compelling.
Since its introduction in 2014, Porsche has shifted more than 800,000 Macans, making it a hugely important model for the Stuttgart brand. Now though, after 10 years of petrol and diesel models, the new Macan is here, and it's all electric. Following on from the success of the Taycan, the new Macan is Porsche's second EV, with 2 models available from launch, the 4 and the Turbo. Both longer and wider than the outgoing ICE car, but with a lower roofline, this bloated Taycan is a big gamble for Porsche. The petrol and diesel models have been hugely successful. Along with the Cayenne, they turned the marque into an SUV brand that also makes sports cars, instead of the other way around. And now, with the future of electric vehicles beginning to come into question with changing legislation and plummeting values on the second-hand market, this new EV better be good. Both versions use the same 100 kWh battery pack, which can cope with charging speeds of up to 270 kilowatts. The 4's range is an impressive 380 miles, and it can be charged from 10 to 80% in 21 minutes. The power stands at 402 brake horsepower on overboost, giving the Macan 4 a 0 to 62 time of a shade over 5 seconds with a top speed of 136. The really appealing numbers though come with the top spec 630 brake horsepower turbo model. No, it doesn't actually have a turbo, but it goes like it does, matching the V8 powered Cayenne Turbo GT from 0 to 62 in just 3.3 seconds. The range takes only a slight hit, down to 366 miles, and top speed is improved to 161 miles per hour. To help the Macan handle as well as it goes, four-wheel steering is offered on both models, while the 4 gets adaptive dampers and steel springs. Air suspension is an option and is included as standard on the turbo. It also gains an electric limited slip differential and torque vectoring across the rear axle. Prices for the Macan 4 start at just under £70,000, while the faster turbo comes in at £95,000 before options. Order books are open now, and the first UK deliveries are expected in the second half of this year.
After the break, Chevy versus Toyota and Alpine's new track car. Coming up, the latest Alpine, but first. Whereas European sales charts are topped by SUVs, saloons and super minis, over in the States the best-selling models are pickups. Last year Ford sold over 750,000 F-Series, while Chevrolet wasn't far behind, producing nearly 550,000 Silverados. In fact, 5 out of the top 11 best-selling vehicles in America were pickups. And in that 11th place was this, the Toyota Tacoma, which despite a few minor annual updates is basically the same as when it was launched in 2015. Toyota shifted nearly 250,000 Tacomas last year, the best-selling mid-size pickup in North America, an accolade it has held for nearly 2 decades. And now for 2024, there's a new one, but this time it's more than just a facelift or redesigned headlights. Built on an entirely new platform, which it shares with the Tundra and Sequoia, the new Taco gets a turbocharged 2.4-litre 4-cylinder engine as standard. For entry-level SR-grade cars, this motor puts out 228 brake horsepower, while higher spec models get a more powerful version with 278 brake horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque. But for the first time in the Tacoma's history, it is available as a hybrid, utilising the same 2.4-litre paired with the 48 horsepower electric motor for a combined output of 326 brake horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. This powertrain is available as a $4,000 option on platinum grey Tacomas and above. There are 8 trim levels to choose from, with all vehicles getting LED head and tail lights and trailer reverse assist as standard. Lower spec models get a 10-speed automatic transmission and rear-wheel drive, although there is the option for 4-wheel drive across the range. All specs come with a double cab, although the size of the cab and bed varies amongst trim grades, with the largest bed being 8.1 feet. Inside, the dashboard is dominated by the 14-inch touchscreen infotainment screen, complete with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connectivity, while high-spec Tacos get a JBL speaker system, digital rear-view mirror and a power moonroof. All but the entry-level SR model gets a leather steering wheel, and adjustable fabric front seats are available on most models. There is no end of accessories too, with everything from dash cams to camera mounting positions to coolers and solar kits.
But in this competitive market corner, the Tacoma has long had this, the Chevrolet Colorado, to contend with. This is the most recent one, launched in 2023. Like the Tacoma, it gets a turbocharged four-cylinder engine, this time with a 2.7-litre capacity. It's available in 3 versions, putting out either 237 or 310 brake horsepower, depending on spec. While there's no hybrid model available, the smaller engine size compared to its predecessor means it's a bit better on fuel consumption. Inside, its 11.3-inch infotainment screen is adequate, although unlike the Tacoma, it isn't touchscreen and feels last-gen when compared to the Toyota. It's also lacking some standard features. Not all models get LED lighting, for example, and its bed is just over 5 feet on all models, making it significantly shorter than that of the Tacoma.
The Tacoma then seems to have kept its reign with its latest generation. It's packed full of standard tech, has plenty of off-road ability, and its hybrid engine ensures it stays frugal on fuel.
It's safe to say that the Alpine 110 is one of the very finest sports cars money can buy. Proof that you don't need a big engine to have fun, the diminutive French coupe can out-accelerate Porsche Cayman's thanks to its 1,100-kilo curb weight. It may only have a 1.8-litre Renault engine, but that is all you need in a car this light. It's perfectly civilised on the road as well, with its supple ride and frugal motor, making it a great everyday car for those who don't need any back seats. However, we've always wondered what a truly focused Alpine might be like, one designed more for on-track use rather than day-to-day. And now we have the answer. This is the new Alpine A110R. Sharper, stiffer, and a whole lot more expensive, this is the ultimate Alpine for those looking for a pure track day weapon. Like the standard car though, its specs are nothing to shout about. Its 4-cylinder engine is carried over from the standard car, this time producing 296 brake horsepower, the same as an entry-level Porsche Boxster. At £97,000, it's over 40 grand more than the regular car. And that sounds like an awful lot of money for a version that produces no more power than an A110S. So what do you get for all that extra cash? Well, even at first glance, it's clear that this is no regular Alpine. It gets a vented carbon fibre bonnet, a sports exhaust, loads of new aero bits, and some very expensive looking carbon fibre wheels that you almost certainly do not want to curb. For an extra £6.5 grand, you can even have it painted in the same matte blue paint as Alpine's F1 car. The new aero kit consists of a new carbon front splitter and side skirts, plus a big rear diffuser and swan neck mounted wing for increased downforce to help keep it planted on the corners. And that is exactly where the R is intended to really perform. The chassis has been thoroughly reworked with lower, stiffer suspension with manually adjustable dampers that let you alter your compression and rebound ratios. The anti-roll bars are stiffer too, while those gorgeous 18-inch carbon wheels are wrapped in ultra-sticky Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s. The wheels also channel air onto the new Brembo brakes with increased stopping power. Further adding to the new race car feel is the carbon engine cover in place of a rear window, while the bucket seats with 6-point harnesses eliminate any pretense of practicality. Despite all its aero add-ons, the 110R is 34 kilos lighter than the S model, getting the little racer from 0 to 62 in under 4 seconds onto a top speed of 177 miles per hour.
However, the A110 isn't the only mid-engine sports car that's been on a diet. This is the Porsche Cayman GT4, a lighter, harder version of the Cayman GTS, complete with a mighty 4-litre naturally aspirated flat 6. It may have 414 brake horsepower on tap, but it's half a second slower to 62 than the Alpine, although it beats it on top speed at 188. It's cheaper too, at £81,000, a significant saving, especially with the added cachet of that Porsche badge. As a product of the Stuttgart brand's GT department, it's every bit as track-ready as the Alpine, with aggressive aero and the option of a proper manual gearbox. It gets auto blip to help you out around a twisty circuit, but it can be turned off from the proper heel and toe downshifts if you prefer. As standard, the cabin is a lot more user-friendly than the Alpine's, but just tick a few boxes, you can add harnesses, a roll cage and even a fire extinguisher.
Both of these cars are evolutions of already brilliant sports cars. Whether or not you need all the extra race car equipment is up to you, but if you're after a real track car experience, both Porsche and Alpine have got you covered. Join us again next week as we check out the gorgeous new Aston Martin Vantage.